How to ask the bold questions that keep her engaged. The questions most men are too afraid to ask. Most men think attraction is about having the right answers, the right job, the right stories, the right jokes, the right image. So when they talk to a woman, they try to perform, they explain themselves, they try to impress, they try to prove they're interesting, and without realizing it, they become predictable, safe, forgettable. But here's what most men never understand. Attraction is not built on answers. It's built on questions. The right question can create more attraction in 10 seconds than an hour of trying to impress someone. Because questions do something powerful. They shift the dynamic. Instead of you trying to earn her attention, she becomes curious about you. And curiosity is the real beginning of attraction. But there's a problem. Most men ask safe questions. Where are you from? What do you do? What are your hobbies? These are polite questions. But polite questions don't create tension. They don't create intrigue. They don't create emotional engagement. They create interviews, and no woman wants to feel like she's filling out a job application on a date. What actually keeps a woman engaged are bold questions. Not rude, not aggressive, but bold enough to show something important. You're not afraid of real conversation. Because confidence isn't shown through bragging. It's shown through what you're willing to ask. When a man asks a bold question calmly, something interesting happens psychologically. She stops trying to judge him and starts trying to figure him out. This is why the smartest men in the room don't try to dominate conversations. They guide them, often with just one well-placed question. Because the right question doesn't just start a conversation. It changes the power dynamic inside it. Strategic communicators understand this. They know that curiosity can be used as a subtle form of influence. The right question forces people to think, reveal themselves, and engage deeper than surface-level conversation. In other words, our questions can quietly control the direction of the interaction. But there's another reason bold questions work so well with women. Women are not just responding to your words. They are responding to your energy. When a man is afraid of saying the wrong thing, his questions become cautious, predictable, careful. But when a man is comfortable asking something slightly unexpected, it signals something deeper. Self-assurance. Women are extremely sensitive to this emotional stability, often valuing calm confidence in presence more than surface traits like appearance. And bold questions communicate exactly that. They show you are not trying to perform. You are trying to connect. But there's a deeper psychological layer here. Because bold questions don't just reveal her personality. They reveal her mindset. You begin to see things quickly. Is she playful? Curious? Defensive? Open-minded? Self-aware? Most men spend weeks trying to figure this out. The right question can reveal it in minutes. And that's when the conversation becomes interesting. Because attraction grows when two people stop performing roles and start revealing who they actually are. But there's a skill to this. Not every bold question works. Some make you look awkward, some make you look arrogant, and some shut the conversation down completely. So in this video, we're going to break down the exact types of bold questions that create intrigue, emotional engagement, and curiosity. The questions that make her lean forward instead of pulling away. And more importantly, you'll learn why they work psychologically. Because once you understand that, you'll never struggle with conversation again. You'll know exactly how to turn a normal interaction into something that feels magnetic. But before we get into those questions, we need to talk about the biggest mistake men make in conversations with women, because it destroys attraction before it even begins. And most men don't even realize they're doing it. The 5 bold questions that create instant attraction. Now that you understand why bold questions work, let's talk about how to actually use them. Because there's a huge difference between asking a bold question and asking an awkward one. Bold questions don't create pressure. They create curiosity. They open psychological doors most conversations never reach. And when used correctly, they trigger something powerful. Emotional engagement. Instead of talking about surface things, you start talking about things that actually reveal personality. And when people reveal themselves, they become invested in the interaction. So let's break down the 5 types of bold questions that keep her engaged. 1. The pattern break question. Most conversations follow a boring script. Name, job, where you're from. Your brain expects this pattern. Her brain expects this pattern. So when a man suddenly asks something unexpected, her attention spikes instantly because the brain loves novelty. For example, instead of asking, "What do you do for work?" you ask, "So, tell me something. Do you actually enjoy your job, or are you secretly plotting your escape?" Now, something interesting happens. She laughs. She pauses. She thinks. Because the question isn't about information, it's about personality. And pattern-breaking questions signal something powerful. You're comfortable steering the conversation. People who guide conversations instead of reacting to them naturally appear more confident and socially aware. That confidence is attractive. 2. The personality decoder question. Most people talk about what they do, but attraction grows when you talk about who someone is. So instead of asking surface questions, you ask questions that reveal their psychology. For example, are you the kind of person who likes adventure? Or are you secretly a homebody? Or, be honest, are you usually the responsible one in your friend group or the troublemaker? These questions do something powerful. They create identity framing. Instead of answering with facts, she answers with personality. And once someone starts describing themselves, they become emotionally involved in the conversation. That's when attraction starts building naturally. 3. The playful challenge question. Playful challenges are one of the most powerful tools in attraction because they create light tension, not aggressive tension, but the kind that makes people smile. For example, you seem like someone who gets away with being a little dangerous. Or, you look innocent, but I feel like you're the one who starts the chaos. Now notice something. These questions are not accusations. They are invitations. They invite her to either defend herself or lean into the playful identity. Both create engagement. Playful tension is powerful because it breaks the formal tone most conversations have. And when conversations become playful, they become memorable. 4. The emotional curiosity question. Most men stay in the logic zone during conversations. How many times have you been on a date or met someone new, and the conversation just fizzles out? You're stuck in that loop of, what do you do, and where are you from? And it feels like a job interview. It's frustrating, right? You know there's a real person sitting across from you, but you just can't seem to break through that surface-level chat. What if I told you there is a way to skip all that and dive straight into creating a genuine, exciting connection? A way to have conversations that are not just interesting, but truly magnetic. It's all about asking the right kind of questions. Let's be real. Most of us ask boring, logical questions. We ask about facts, about work, about hobbies, and the answers we get are just as logical and, frankly, a bit dull. These questions stay in the head, but attraction and connection, they don't live in the head. They live in the heart. They're all about emotion. So, the secret is to start asking emotional questions. Instead of what do you do for work, try asking, what's the most exciting part of your job for you? You see the difference? The first question gets a job title. The second one gets a story, a passion, a spark in their eye. Instead of, what are your hobbies? You could ask, what's something you do just for fun that makes you feel completely alive? This kind of question invites them to share a piece of their soul, not just a list of activities. It's about getting to the why behind the what. Now, let's take it a step further. Beyond just emotional questions, there are truth-seeking questions. These are the questions that reveal a person's core values, their dreams, and what truly makes them tick. They build an incredible amount of attraction because they show you're not just interested in the superficial stuff. You're interested in who they really are. For example, a great truth-seeking question is, what's something you're really proud of that most people don't know about you? This is fantastic because it's personal, it's positive, and it reveals their character and what they value in themselves. Another powerful one is, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? This question uncovers their life, lessons, their regrets, and their growth. It has a window into their journey and shows a level of depth that you just and get from small talk. But here's a crucial tip. You can't just fire off these deep questions like a machine gun. It needs to feel natural. Take a step reframe. Before you ask a deep question, you set the stage. You could say something like, I'm getting tired of all the usual small talk. Can I ask you something a bit more interesting? This does two things. It piques their curiosity, and it gets their permission. They'll almost always say yes. and now they're excited to see what you're going to ask. Another technique is to share something about yourself first. It's called vulnerability reciprocity. If you open up, it makes the other person feel safe and comfortable to open up to. You could say, something I'm really proud of is that I taught myself to play the guitar. It was so hard, but incredibly rewarding. What about you? What's something you're proud of that people might not know? By sharing first, you're leading by example. You're showing them it's okay to be real. This isn't an interrogation. It's a shared experience of discovery. Let's put it all together. Imagine you're on a date. You've gotten past the initial hello. You could say, all right, I'm going to break the rules of first day conversation. I'm curious, what's a passion you have that you wish you could spend more time on? They answer, maybe they love painting. Instead of just saying, oh, that's cool, you follow up with another emotional question. That's amazing. How do you feel when you're in that creative zone? Just painting. Now you're not just talking about a hobby. You're talking about feelings, creativity, and flow. You're connecting on a much deeper level. Later on, you could try a truth-seeking question. You seem like a really thoughtful person. It makes me wonder, what's one of the most important lessons you've learned in life so far? Do you feel the shift? This is how you create conversations that people remember. Conversations that lead to second dates, lasting friendships, and real, meaningful bonds. You stop being just another person they met and become someone who truly saw them. So, the next time you're talking to someone, I challenge you to try it. Ditch the boring questions. Get curious. Ask about emotions. Seek their truth. Pre-frame your questions. Be a little vulnerable yourself. And watch what happens. You'll be amazed at how quickly you can build a powerful, attractive connection. It's a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with practice. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more tips on building incredible connections. See you in the next one.